Good evening, everybody. Welcome, respected seniors, faculty members, colleagues, and dear delegates. After an afternoon filled with knowledge, which is elucidating the finer points in breast oncology, now I welcome you all to the inauguration ceremony. I call upon our three senior consultants from Sir Gangaram Hospital, Dr. Shyam Agarwal, organizing chairperson and senior consultant, Department of Medical Oncology, Dr. Rakesh Kaul, Department of Surgical Oncology, and Dr. Arvind Kumar, Department of Surgical Oncology, who are both our organizing secretaries. So please come on stage. Next, I would request Professor Dr. D.S. Rana, sir, our chief guest, Chairman, Sir Gangaram Hospital, and Chairman of Board of Members to grace the dais. Mrs. Sujata Sharma, Madam, is our guest of honor today. She is the Honorary Secretary of Sir Gangaram Trust Society. Madam is the great-granddaughter of our founder, Sir Gangaram Ji. She is a qualified architect and gold medalist from the University of Delhi. Welcome, Madam. Next, I would call upon Professor Vijay Arora, sir, Emeritus Consultant, Chairman, Department of Laparoscopic and General Surgery. A very warm welcome to our esteemed guest. And now I will request Kriti to felicitate our guest with a token of our appreciation for being here today. Dr. D.S. Rana, sir. Mr. Deepti to Mrs. Sujata, Madam, our guest of honor for today. Sister Ritu to Professor Vijay Arora, sir. Sister Sunita to Dr. S.P. Biotra, sir. Sir is the Vice Chairman of Board of Management, Emeritus Consultant in Department of Medicine, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Sister Pooja to Mrs. Vinita Chopra. Madam is Honorary Joint Secretary, Board of Trustees. And she is the great-granddaughter of Sir Gangaram Ji. We are very happy to have you here, ma'am. Sister Harpreet to Dr. Govind Babu, sir. Sir is my teacher, so I can't stop mentioning that. Asto ma sadgamaya, tamso ma jyotirgamaya, nrityo ma amritam gamaya, om shanti shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. Om shanti shanti. I will now request all our dignitaries on the dais to invoke the Lord's blessings on our gathering today and proceed for the lamp lighting.
Thank you.
With the Lord's blessing upon us, now I would like to call upon Dr. Shyam Agarwal, our organizing chairperson, to give the welcome address.
Good evening and namaskar to everyone. Respected Dr. D.S. Rana, Chairman Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Madam Sujata Sharma, Honorary Secretary, Board of Trustees, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Dr. Vijay Arora, Head of the Department Surgery, Sir Gangaram Hospital. Dr. Kaul, Dr. Arvind, Deepika ji, all dignitaries in the audience, Vinita ji, Dr. Beotra, and faculty, colleagues, and friends. So after a gap of 2 years, once the COVID is gone, so we thought we will not lose this opportunity this year to organize this symposium or continuing medical education, which we have been doing for the last almost 22 years. And we thought we'll choose breast cancer since this is the commonest malignancy in women today in India, which has surpassed cervical cancer. So I welcome you all to this meeting, and I'm really overwhelmed because anybody whom I called, there was some hesitation to begin with, but then ultimately everybody agreed to come over and join us from all over the country. Yes, international representation is much lower this time, but maybe once the fear of COVID goes away, people are going to come in. So I thought what I'm going to say in this welcome address, because there's a gap of 2-3 years. So I'm going to raise, 2-3 contentious points which are relevant to cancer in just few minutes, from 3 to 4 minutes, I think. So I think, as we all know, there are 5 pillars of cancer treatment: surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, targeted therapy, and now we have immunotherapy. So first 3 modalities are actually fairly simple and readily available. But the problem comes to targeted therapy drugs and immunotherapy drugs, which are really, really changing the landscape of treatment of cancer. But what is the problem? The problem is the cost of these drugs. They're really, really exorbitantly expensive. So why is that? So the reason for that is that all these drugs which we are seeing today, new ones, which are really impacting the life of metastatic disease or early disease even for that matter, are produced and manufactured abroad by multinational companies. And there is a patent for 20 years after they've been discovered. So it takes about 7-8 years for these drugs to come from the bench into the public domain for the patients to take. So 13 years gap. So which is too much to my mind. So I think this is from the WTO and from all global leaders. They've decided a 20-year patent for any drug which is discovered on a particular date, and then you have to have that 20 years. So I think, given the merit of the drug and the amount of benefit it is going to give to the society, so I think the leaders all over the world, whether India or America or US and UK, they should think about reducing the patent period. And I think there are a lot of pharmaceutical people here and senior doctors here. So there is a need to do that kind of a campaign so as to bring these important drugs which are really life-saving. This is what I had written, a few days back. We are seeing dying patients with these new immunotherapy drugs virtually becoming all right and living for virtually, many, many years, likely to live for 2, 3, 4 years or even longer cured. So unless, and why I'm making this point is that Indian pharmaceutical companies are really, really good at producing biosimilars and generics. But this patent business does not allow the Indian companies to produce them. So unless we waiver the patent and let the Indian companies produce these drugs, so you have to wait for 13, 14 years. It's really a pity. I see a patient in the OPD. I want to give that. I know this is going to save the life of a patient, but I just can't give it because the cost is huge. So that was the first point I wanted to make regarding the patent issue, which is important. The second important issue is also doable in our setup and actually doable. What is the issue? The cost of the treatment is a very important issue, as I'm making a point. A lot of our patients are now coming with insurance, and the insurance is to the tune of say 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. But what is the problem in giving these drugs to these patients? The problem is that these insurance companies, they do not permit the use of targeted drugs and immunotherapy drugs. So why is that? I don't know. So there is a lot of work which needs to be done to convince the government of India to see to it that the insurance companies not only give surgery, radiation and chemo, but also provide for the targeted drugs and immunotherapy drugs. The claims are rejected. So people are asking for the drug. They say we have money, we have paid our insurance premium for the last 15 years, 20 years. So I think a lobby needs to be generated in that direction as well, so that the insurance companies should reimburse their reasonable demand of getting use of these drugs. And my final point today is, which I discussed with Dr. Rana and others and Vinita ji also, is the digitization of hospital records. It's a very, very important critical step. Why are we behind in publishing our data? Just because we lose patients in the medical record section, they don't come back to us for follow-up, we don't know what's happening to them. So our data is not genuine. So I think the paradox is India is a hub for software production, and we have the softwares, but the problem is implementation. The reason is that we have a huge load of patients coming in, and in order to digitize that data, we need manpower because all the data records have to be entered. So I think some allocation of funds in that direction needs to be done so that we really have digitization of data so that we can produce records and, have follow-up data for all our patients so that we can, deliberate on these discussions. And that is where the Indian, doctors and medical practitioners and all of us are going to progress and publish our data and showcase to the world that we have so much of load, we are doing this kind of work. We are not able to do that. So I think digitization is a very, very important concept. We all understand that, but I think the implementation is the issue. So I think these are the three issues I wanted to sort of say here and, tell to the people. But so through this particular, platform and the breast cancer symposium, which we are having, I welcome you all. And I'm sure we are here since 2 p.m. until tomorrow, 2 p.m. We're going to be deliberating on many, many aspects of early breast cancer, which is actually, the incidence is rising now, and it's likely to maybe double in the next 15 to 20 years. So the numbers are increasing, and we need to do a lot to help our cancer patients, and these kind of meetings are helpful in that. So with this, I stop here, and thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, sir. I know that every oncologist who is sitting here thinks the same things, and you have provided a platform and have voiced our intentions as well. And now I would like to call upon Dr. Arvind Kumar, Department of Surgical Oncology, our organizing secretary, to address the gathering.
Hello, good evening, all of you. My respected chairman of Gangaram Hospital, Dr. Rana sir, and Dr. Sujata ma'am. And it is our great pleasure to have you all here in this academic feast of early breast cancer. And I hope you enjoyed today's session very well. And going to be tomorrow, as usual, a great feast on this academic early breast cancer. I invite you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would request Professor Vijay Arora, sir, to address our gathering.
Good evening, everyone, the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, various oncologists, young and old, who have come from across the country, some from abroad, to attend this meeting after a big gap. Listening to Shyam talk about some of the things that he wants done now takes me back to when I first thought of getting into surgery. And breast cancer, really the name which comes first to mind is Halsted. Halsted is the man who said surgery can be done and just cut it out. All of you have that as your historical perspective. And then from going ahead with bigger and bigger surgeries came the other specialties of medical and radiation oncology. And here in Delhi, we in Gangaram Hospital, before the oncology department had come in, organized a meeting with MD Anderson Center of America. And we invited them in, it was held in Ashoka Hotel. At that time, the radiation oncologist there told us that we don't really need to remove it. If the size is of this, dimension, all we need is a needle biopsy to say it is cancer and we'll burn it out. And a lot of water has flown since then down the Yamuna and various rivers across the world. From just cut it out to burn it out, things have changed dramatically. And today, early breast cancer is a totally different disease from breast cancer, which is larger or which has spread. And I'm sure the deliberations of today's symposium and tomorrow's lectures will delve more into this. Once we have got the real cause of what causes cancer, what makes it spread, what makes it kill, only then we will be able to say we have conquered it. We are still struggling, we are still swimming. The shore is visible, but not yet achieved. And I wish that conferences like this, arranged by people like Shyam Agarwal, with the whole support of Gangaram Hospital, its management, the chairman, Dr. Rana, the trust who supports such activities, we will find it one of these days. And we will have a meeting to say, now we have conquered cancer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our teachers and the people who have stood for oncology when there were no formal departments, when there were no such super specialities. And it is because of you that we have progressed so much and we are here. Thank you very much. Now I would request Professor Dr. D.S. Rana, sir, to give the inaugural address.
Good evening to all of you. Sujata Sharma ji, Secretary of Trust Society of Gangaram Hospital. Vinita ji, Ashok ji, Kusum ji, Dr. Paitran, my all friends sitting on the dais, and delegates and faculty. My warm greeting to all of you this evening. Shyam joined this hospital about 25 years back. And after joining after third year or second year, he started these updates in oncology. And this is, I believe, this is 22nd or this year, except they're having 2 years holidays. My congratulations to you, Shyam, and now other people are joining to you, Dr. Arvind and Dr. Rakesh Kaul. Young ladies here, they're all joining you. A lot more people are going to join you within 1 year. Because we are going to have full-fledged department of cancer, be it oncosurgeons, oncologists, and radiotherapists within next 1 year. Topic this year they've chosen is early detection of breast cancer, which is one of the very important disease or what the major killer in the women. Early detection implies to every organ. apply to every system, whether it is cancer, whether it is heart, kidney, or other systems. Detection is the only answer, early detection is the only answer. Once we can, especially in cancer, we detect them early. And if we can do early excision, early surgery, and we get rid of them, that is a treatment of choice actually. As Shyam told you that, though we have come up with a lot of therapy like targeted therapies and other therapies which have improved overall survival of cancer patient, nevertheless, those therapies in most of cases still remains palliative ones only. It is only early detection which can help us in reaching to masses as far as treatment is concerned, Shyam raised question, a lot of questions regarding patent and all those things. Those are very complex issues which cannot be addressed so easily. Just to let you know that just to get one targeted drug, a company which invents these drugs, they have to waste almost 9 more drugs, and trillions of rupees are spent on that, So until some formula is found out, it is not so easy for the parent company to give up the patents. I'm just saying that there are a lot of issues. The easiest way was declaration, but that is also very difficult. Not that we don't have, I think that a lot of manpower is involved and other problem, but sooner or later the world is going up and the developed nations have already gone there, and we are also going ahead toward as far as declaration is concerned. I always stress that last century, especially during the last 60 to 80 years, we learned a lot of about this human disease, human organs. But still at the end of the day, I feel that we know very little about this body. We are knowing so many things, but we are not able to provide forward about cure, but to many diseases, we are not able to provide even treatment today. So I think taking into that consideration, this century, we have to fund more and more preventive action. And that is the only answer which was thought 1,000 years, the prevention is better than cure. And probably we will be targeting our all faculties, or especially in country like India, prevention will be the important slogan, This is as far as the disease is concerned. I will be little word about Sir Gangaram Hospital. Most of you know about it. But I just want to tell you that Sir Gangaram Hospital is well-known tertiary care hospital, well known for providing ethical health care. But at the same time, we are totally committed for medical education and research. I am very glad that there is not any weekend or even weekdays when some activity or other activity as far as medical education and medical updates are concerned that is going on. It is not only clinical research which we are carrying in this Gangaram Hospital, but we are now committed to basic research. We have got now very well-established research department, which is recognized all over the world. We are getting not only intramural funds, but we are getting a lot of extramural grants from the country, within the country and outside the country. And we are having a lot of research projects at our hand. Our research department, which is headed by none else than Professor Ganguly and his dedicated team, they are really committed to basic research. And Dr. Shyam, I think then once our scientists themselves start doing this research as far as finding drugs, new tools for diagnosis are concerned, it's like something like vaccination we found. Once we find that sort of thing, then only probably we will be able to find some solution for our country. Otherwise, we will not be able to do away with patents so quickly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I'd request Dr. Rakesh Kaul to please give the vote of thanks.
Thanks, distinguished guests and delegates. It is after an enlightening academic session today, it is heartening to see the jam-packed hall that we had. And in fact, it has surpassed our expectations today because we were not expecting so much participation in view of I believe that we have just probably surpassed the scourge of the COVID endemic, the COVID pandemic, not endemic. And in the light of this fact, I will like to appreciate each and everybody's role in this. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event. On behalf of the organization, I will like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. D.S. Rana, Chairman, Board of Management, Sir Gangaram Hospital, to adore this event. Thanks a lot, sir. You have been a source of encouragement to us at every step. My sincere thanks to Srimati Sujata Sharma, Honorary Secretary of Sir Gangaram Trust Society, to spare some time out of her busy schedule and participate in this event today. To add a little more information, she is the great-granddaughter of Sir Gangaram ji, and she's a qualified architect and a gold medalist from University of Delhi. Thank you, ma'am. Many thanks to Dr. Vijay Arora, sir, a doyen in the field of surgery and presently Chairman Department of Surgery at Sir Gangaram Hospital, to accept our request to participate in this conference. Thank you, sir, for ensuring the success of our conference. I express my immense pleasure to the other members of our Board of Management, including Dr. Bayotra, sir, Vice Chairman, Board of Management, and Madam Vinita, Madam. She is honorary Joint Secretary of Sir Gangaram Trust Society. Thanks, ma'am. We'll be failing in our duties if we do not express our immense pleasure and gratitude to the participants of this conference, that is the faculty and the delegates, who have come from different parts of our country and readily expressed their desire to participate in person in this conference. And this is in the light of this fact that we have probably overcome the dark clouds of COVID pandemic, probably overcome the clouds of COVID pandemic just recently. Though our international faculty could not come physically to participate in this conference because of their logistic reasons, but we are very thankful to them for their participation. Organizers of this conference are thankful to the faculty of the Department of Surgery, Sir Gangaram Hospital, for their time-to-time help and advice. Mr. Tarun Mathur and Mr. Mukesh and their team members deserve a loud applause from us, as without them, this conference and this event would not have been possible. They worked relentlessly to fill all the aspects and chips at proper places in this frame of conference. Our sincere thanks to all the pharmaceutical companies who also helped us to work out the success of this conference. Last but not the least, we profusely thank the media and the staff of Hotel Shangri-La who worked tirelessly for the success of our cause. We lastly apologize to anybody who has been left out unintentionally from our piece of appreciation. Thank you very much. Yes, I will request everybody to proceed for the dinner now.